What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. I hope you're all doing really well. It's been an exciting day for me. If you've caught, I've kind of mentioned here and there, today is the unofficial grand opening of Coffee Brand Coffee. Yes, I bought a coffee company, and it is no longer a sponsored product. It is my product, a apolitical product, a product that is fresh roasted when you order it. I'm launching with 5 of what I thought would be the most popular blends. I have 20 different flavors in the hopper, tea coming down the line, hot cocoa coming down the line, all in probably the next 90 days. I'm going to leave a link to the website. Read the About Us. At least read the About Us. See what you think about our story. And if you want, if we've earned it, consider placing an order today. Bill Burr on Gina Carano's firing from The Mandalorian, the liberals proved her point. They just use outrage because they don't like your politics. Bill Burr spoke to the Gina Carano firing during a recent interview with The Hollywood Reporter, given both in retrospective of his career and promotion of his upcoming Netflix stand-up special live at Red Rocks. Actually, really cool venue too, Colorado, I believe, right? Following discussions on such topics as the ups and downs of his career and his 18-year relationship with his wife, Burr was eventually pressed by THR reporter James Hibbard for information on whether or not there was a chance he would reprise his role as Saul Goodman, henchman Patrick Kuby, or Imperial soldier turned mercenary Miggs Mayfield in either Better Call Saul or The Mandalorian's respective upcoming series. Refusing to confirm or deny such a possibility, Burr instead told Hibbert, "I just do the stuff if it seems like fun, and the people I'm working with are there trying to do something great. You go on the set of The Mandalorian, they're trying to do something great all day," he continued, before solemnly trailing off and interjecting, "That makes me think of Gina, how cool she was as a person." That's actually such a real moment for Bill Burr. That really does speak to, and as somebody who has literally spent time with Gina Carano, hung out with Gina Carano, I can obviously confirm as well. Very, very, just one of the kindest people I've ever met, maybe the kindest. Next, asked by Hibbard whether or not he thought Carano's firing from Mandalorian was, quote, a fair move, Burr bluntly responded, "No. I thought it was funny that the liberals proved her point," he continued. "They just use outrage because they don't like your politics. As someone who considers himself liberal, it's disappointing to see the left become how the right used to be when they went after the Dixie Chicks after they criticized George W. Bush." The comedian added, "There's not a lot of people like that. Most are just trying to not get into trouble. But there's a small collection of lunatics, either on the right or the left, at any given moment, that cause hysteria." And again, this is something that we've talked about on this channel at length too. It's absolutely true that it is a vocal minority. It is not the actual thoughts of real people. It's like, these conversations we have about bots on Twitter. By the way, I am currently 600 followers away from 200,000. I have a huge announcement I want to make on Twitter. Well, I have obviously already alluded to it here in this video. But if you haven't yet followed me, please consider doing so. And by the way, I agree with Bill here. Like, it's not just the left. It's not just the right. It's the outrage merchants in general that cause the issues, that are, pushing the panic. I mean, I remember when I was younger and I played Magic the Gathering. Before that game got ruined by politics. And I remember my church being like, there was this one card on Holy Strength and it had a pentagram on it. And it's like the satanic panic thing. That was coming from the right. And that kind of stuff is what made me a liberal early on. Then it started coming from the left. And both sides do it. And, I've been caught up in it too. And it's not right. You have to constantly check your own behavior and make sure you're not getting in on this weird cancel culture um, um, like obsession. Now he writes, and now there's so many media outlets that want eyeballs. They make money off advertising. They give attention to these crazy fringe people. The whole thing with Gina, you can't chime in when that stuff's happening, because when you cause static for other people on the show, he said, that's somebody's opinion or their political beliefs, makes people try to destroy their ability to make a living. It's effing bizarre to me. Burr then launched into a rant against modern mechanics of cancel culture. So he avoided using the specific term, exclaiming, and I love the whole idea that somebody can go back 8 years in somebody's Twitter feed and be like, what's this about? And nobody says, you had to go back 8 years to find something? Sounds like a pretty good person if you had to go back 8 effing years. He observed, meanwhile, there were people who get paroled from prison every day who have done much worse, and they're allowed to put their lives back together. You can have 20-year wars and create synthetic bad things you inject. You can poison the food. You can do all this stuff, and it's barely going to read. There was a study the other day that said 85% of the people have plastic in their body. I think he's talking about those microplastics. Horrifying, he concluded. Who's going to be held accountable for that? Nobody. But I could tell you 5 different topics that if I did a joke about, it would get me in more trouble than the people who caused that. Carano, of course, was fired from role on The Mandalorian as the Navarro Marshal and former Alliance fighter, Cara Dune, back in February 2021, after Disney buckled to public outrage regarding her sharing a social media post that cautioned Americans against demonizing each other over political disagreements. And in exactly that fashion, they proved her right. I'm very excited for Terror on the Prairie because I'm very excited for Gina. I've got mad love for her, and I really, really hope. I still think, and I don't know, I can't speak for her, so I can't say that I would do this or that she would even take it. But I still think Disney could bring her back. Don't you think? I still think Disney could bring her back. And I example, they did with the Guardians of the Galaxy director, but I think that was more easily acceptable because people oh yeah, same teamsies, But as I get older, we're all getting older. I'm getting older too. Well, that's an odd. That's way up. I regret doing that. It's you have. I've said this a million times. You have to give people a path to redemption. You can't just ruin someone's life and then say, good job done, because people have to start pushing back against that, because it's when does it ever end? If you don't give people a path to redemption, then you don't allow, then you don't be, then it does not make sense. Why are you canceling them in the first place? Why are you, what's the point? If you don't want to give them any kind of redemption, Bill Burr is absolutely right. I thought it was funny that the liberals proved her point. They use outrage because they don't like your politics. And if you look at this tweet, I would love to retweet it. 600 people would follow me. Bill Burr on cancel culture. And if you look at this, the tides are turning. The replies show that no one understands what he means, which is sad because it's pretty basically spelled out clearly. It wouldn't be Twitter without projecting your own thought onto someone else's. The idea is that, Gina Carano, be kind to your neighbors. The horror. Couldn't have said it better. There's all these people. Do they even remember what they were mad at Gina for? She did it's very dangerous to make comparisons to, the events that led to WW2. I think, in general, you'd want to avoid that. But I think the core of what she was saying was still true. And I can, disagree with maybe, the way it was put. But, is she supposed to get... she robbed so many young women of this strong character that didn't feel forced, that didn't feel a Mary Sue, and all the young kids out there who looked up to her, they don't know that she made some Instagram post about being kind to your neighbor. All they know now is they have one less strong, independent woman to look up to, which is, I thought, what Disney wanted. I don't know. I'm still so salty about it. Plus, I really liked The Mandalorian, and it just totally ruined it for me. I guess I need a cup of coffee. Some coffee brand coffee. Promo code The Quartering. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.